Welcome back to the program. Joining me right now is my guest, is Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. He's a business and a leadership coach. Dr. Emmanuel, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Where should we start from? Of course, welcome to Moneyline with Nancy. So I discuss money all the time. This is the first time hosting you on the show. So are you onto a money program? This is the best place to be at this time. We're talking, we'll be talking today about, building wealth in tough economic times. Like I said earlier, this is, a money literacy program, so to speak. We educate people about even government policies, money-making habits, and all of that. But let me start from this perspective, which is, it's the end of the month, so to speak. So some people may have been paid, some people will expect to be paid, and what have you. Households are really facing a difficult time right now. And we see that households are really getting strained in their wallets. How do you think people can really go through difficult times, especially now that we know what's happening in Nigeria? GDP growth is not as high as it should be. Inflation is up. So many people have lost their jobs. Unemployment rate is at 33.3%. Poverty rate, Nigeria, of course, is the poverty capital of the world. So you have all this economic data that are not good. I can see you laughing. So how do you think that people can really navigate this tough economic times before we come into wealth creation or even making money in the first place, before you now talk of multiplying it?
Well, thank you very much. Economic downturn, negative economic indices are always there from time to time. And one of the things I've always made people to understand is that what you need to do to create wealth is the same regardless of the economic climate. Most of the time, the reasons why a lot of people face financial challenge when they do is because they have not done what they are supposed to do before the financial challenge came. Because when you really look at the issue of wealth and money, wealth is cyclical. There's something we call the wealth cycle. There are seasons of plenty and there are seasons of famine. So it just goes like that in cycles. So when everything is going on fine in the season of plenty, you are supposed to use the season of plenty to prepare for the season of famine. And that's one of the things that many people do not do because a lot of people don't have the savings culture. We always advise people to save between 6 to 8 months of their living expenses so that when they find themselves in economic downturn, they will have something to use to cushion the effects of that. But because a lot of people don't do that, many people think, oh, I can't afford to save. But the fact is you cannot afford not to save. And when economic climate turns around like it is right now, one of the things that people need to also look into is to look into how to reduce their expenditure. Because most of the time, a lot of people are always thinking of how to make more money. There are two ways to make money available to you. Number one is to increase your income. Number two is to reduce your expenditure. So most of the time, people are always thinking of the aspect of increasing their income, but they don't take the aspect of reducing their expenditure serious enough. But if you really sit down with people, you'll find out that almost everyone has 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 areas of their expenses that can still be cut down. And that's one of the things I think people should begin to look into, to ask yourself, this thing that I'm spending money on right now, do I really need to spend money on it? And what are the things I'm spending money on that I can remove from my expenditure list? I think that's how people will be able to navigate this season, even for corporate organization. For instance, you know that in January, diesel was around 230. Now, diesel is somewhere around 750 to 800. So if you have that kind of increase, you may not be able to increase the price of your goods. So it therefore means you begin to look into how to reduce your expenditure. Either you have to cut down on your working time or you have to cut down on other excesses that you spend money on. And that's the way it goes. So it's all about tightening your belt by reducing your expenditure in order to navigate the climate.
Okay, Dr. Emmanuel, you said something earlier, which is, of course, there are two seasons, the seasons of plenty and the season of famine. So you also need to save or to, making money that time. Of course, you make, you manage, and you multiply. Those are the principles. But the issue is that, how about those that have not even seen season of plenty before in their lives? There are some people that have not really seen season of plenty, and they are living paycheck to paycheck. Does this strategy also apply to them? Those pushing wheelbarrows, for example, in our markets, those that we have 100 million poor Nigerians, those that live on $1.90 a day, about 1,000 naira a day. What you're saying right now, does it apply to the same set of people?
Okay, now one of the things we need to understand when we talk about wealth, you've mentioned the aspect of make, manage, and multiply money. But let's pick the making aspects. There are how not to make money. So when it comes to making, how not to make money is also something that people need to learn. Because if you are going to create wealth, you need financial intelligence, you need financial planning, and you need financial discipline. So most of the people you are talking about that have not been able to come into a place where they experience plenty, it's majorly because of the source of income that they have chosen to live by. Now, now at the risk of being misunderstood, salary is not the way to go if you want to create wealth, because no one will pay you your true worth. The employers will only pay you all that they can to keep you coming. So it therefore means that when you have financial intelligence, you will be able to know that you cannot rely only on salary or rely only on one source of income. You need to have multiple streams of income. So most of these people that have never seen a season of plenty, it's not because they don't have the ability to have plenty. It's not because they don't have the ability to create other streams of income that will help them to have plenty. It's because they just don't know how, which is where financial intelligence comes in. But once they know how, they'll be able to begin to make a difference in what they do. Because many people are just waiting, 30 days salary. But the same people that are waiting for salary could be doing other things with their time, with their talents, with their skill to make extra income, even in the midst of that journey of just collecting salary.
Let's dig deeper into this financial intelligence which you talked about. How does one really acquire financial intelligence? Of course, financial literacy. And you spoke about discipline earlier. How do people acquire financial intelligence? Because it's not taught in schools. And that is why this program
Yeah.
is really critical. I do this every day. This is my life's work now, every day, in terms of teaching people. You need to be savvy, financially savvy, because I've seen that people go out every
Yeah.
morning. There's a rat race. All of us are out of our houses. We want to make money, but even how to spend the money you don't know, you don't have the knowledge how to save, how to invest, how to even build wealth, then even transgenerational wealth. But these are things that are not taught in school. So how do people acquire this?
Okay. When it comes to financial intelligence, schools don't teach financial intelligence. And that's one of the reasons why we have the challenges that we have in our world today. You have people that have BSc in business administration, yet they cannot run a barbing salon successfully or run a restaurant successfully because they know the theory, but they don't know the practical. It's only in a place like Nigeria that you have people that graduate with BSc in zoology and there's no zoo in the country. You have people that graduate with BSc in computer science, and they don't have a personal laptop. So one thing we need to understand is that there are 5 kinds of education that are required if people will become successful. Number one, you need spiritual education, because whether you believe it or not, the spiritual controls the physical. Number two, you need personal education. You need to understand yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your likes, your dislikes, so that you have a personal understanding of yourself to be able to apply yourself to the journey of wealth. Number three, you need marketplace education. You need to be able to understand how things work in the market. That's why when people are looking for job, when people are looking for staff, they say we want someone that has 5 years experience, 3 years experience. That's what 5 years experience, 3 years experience is: marketplace education. They don't want someone that will come that doesn't understand team building, that doesn't understand how to achieve tasks. And then number four, you need economic education. Or let me do academic education. You need academic education. Now, academic education only does 4 things. It teaches you how to read, how to write, how to do mathematics, and how to think analytically. But that's where it ends. Then number five, you need financial education. So schools don't teach financial education because having PhD in swimming technology does not make you a swimmer. So for you to have financial education, you need to make it your own personal decision. So financial education comes through personal development. So you have to be committed to personally learning about money. Every day, millions of people wake up every day to go work to get money, but the same set of people are not ready to spend 5, 10, 15, 20,000 to buy a book that will help them. They are not ready to go for a wealth creation seminar or summit to pay 30, 50,000 to get what they need to get. They are not ready to submit to mentorship to get what they need to get because they think that all they need is academic education. So definitely, academic education is not enough for wealth creation. If it was, all the dean of faculty of econs in university and all the people that teach economics, they will have been billionaires because you have a lot of people that are chartered accountant, but they can't even charter a private jet because academic education has not positioned them to be able to create their own wealth. So as far as I'm concerned, the way to get personal financial education is by personal development. So everybody must make a commitment to learn by themselves and then continue to practice that.
I like that you brought that up in terms of even personal and financial education. I hosted a personal and business acceleration masterclass just 2 weeks ago here in Abuja, and you needed to see. I saw the kind of hunger. In fact, people were in that our masterclass till about 7 p.m. I had to shut it down. That let's go home. People were that hungry for information, for personal growth and business acceleration. But a lot more people too would say, okay, I did not have the opportunity and all of that. Do you think that financial intelligence or even financial education can really be taught in schools? Especially now that we're having entrepreneurship is reigning. But I also tell people not everyone is built or wired to be an entrepreneur. But now, can that be taught in schools?
Yes, it can. One of the things we need to do is to work on our curriculum to make up for the deficiency and the gaps that we see. Because when people go to school today, over 80% of what they learn in school is useless by the time they graduate. By the time you enter year 1 in the university, you are resuming into school in a work. By the time you graduate 4, 5 years or 7 years later, depending on ASU and ASU, you are going to be graduating in a different world than the world you were in when you entered into school. And when you look at our curriculum today, our curriculum is not made for the 21st century. A lot of states, a lot of different private sector are coming up with academies and coming up with different things to help people. But we need to understand that we need to bring back holistic education. So number one, we need to introduce entrepreneurship education from primary schools so that people can grow to know that they can explore entrepreneurship. Because right now, a lot of people go to school and when they graduate, because the curriculum right now is creating job seekers, not job creators. So when people graduate, the first thing they're looking for is a job because that's what they have been trained to do. They have not been trained to start a business. So we need to change the paradigm of our curriculum. Then number two, we also need to come up with all the other kinds of education that is required for people to excel. I don't know why we have messed up our technical education. Nancy, do you know that in Nigeria today, to get a good electrician, a world-class plumber, a tiler, you probably have to go to Togo, Benin Republic, or import them from outside Lagos. And that's appalling. That's a shame to us. Why? Because our technical schools have been messed up. So we need to bring back the revival of the technical school, and then we need to come up with what I call the learn to earn academics. We need to come up with academies, entrepreneurship education, technical education, vocational education, and learn to earn academics. So everybody does not need to go to university. The only thing everybody needs to do is to have the elementary education. Once people have elementary education, by the time they finish their elementary education, they should now move into any other aspect of education that aligns with their gifts, their talents, and their potentials. So we should be able to have comedy school, football academy, catering school, music school, broadcasting school. We should begin to create all the different curriculums for different aspects of people's giftings and potential so that they can be trained to begin to make money and not just trained to begin to look for a job.
So with what you've said now, that means, or I will still want you to comment on this, like what I said earlier. Is everyone wired to be an entrepreneur? Because when you're talking about building wealth, some people will also think that I must own my own business. A lot of people say, oh, be your own boss. I must own my own business, or I must be an entrepreneur to succeed or to build wealth. They will give the likes of Dangote, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and all of that. But is everyone wired to be an entrepreneur? Can you succeed
Okay,
also?
so from my own
Okay.
perspective, entrepreneurship is a spirit, entrepreneurship is a mindset. So I will say everyone cannot be an entrepreneurial businessman, but everyone must be an entrepreneurial individual, because
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is all about risk taking. It's
Taking,
all
yeah.
about problem solving. It's all about adding value. It's a spirit and a mindset. So even if you are not starting your own business, everybody cannot be an entrepreneurial business person. But everybody must be entrepreneurial in the sense that even if you are working for someone, you should have entrepreneurial mindset in that work, which
Work,
is what we
yeah.
call intrapreneur.
Entrepreneur, yeah.
Companies are no more looking for staff, they're looking for partners. They're looking for people to come into the organization and be entrepreneurial in helping them to build the economy and build their businesses. But most of the time, when people go into business today to go look for a job, they go there with survival mindset
Strategies.
just to go and collect salary. And because they are not entrepreneurial, you have the I can't come and keep myself syndrome.
Yeah.
So they are in there because if you really ask entrepreneurs today, over 70% of people that are employed today are not giving value to their employer.
Yeah.
You have to train them, retrain them. Sometimes you are asking yourself, why do I have all these people around me? Why? Because they are not entrepreneurial. So for me, entrepreneurship is not about just doing business. Everybody cannot be an entrepreneurial business person. We need career people. We need people that will be involved in other aspects of the economy and of our world. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, to me, it's a mindset, it's a spirit, and everybody should have that mindset of risk taking, problem solving, and creating value. And even if you are working for someone, have that entrepreneurial mindset. That is what will make you exceptional within that organization and cause you to be able to grow your career faster than others.
So how do you build your wealth? If you are a 9 to 5er, if you are within a 9 to 5 job, is it possible also to create wealth and also build it as a 9 to 5 person or even as a career person? Because some people will be like, I'm wired to just be a career person. I should be in civil service for 35 years. At the end, I'll retire. When I'm 60, I'll retire. Or I can be working in a private, a big conglomerate, and once it's time, I leave, I get my pensions. Can those set of people also create wealth along their careers and also build, not just create, but build it?
Yeah, everyone can create wealth, whether you're a business person or a career person, once you understand what it takes to create wealth. I said it earlier on, I repeat again. Number one, you need financial intelligence. Number two, you need a financial plan. Number three, you need financial discipline. So if you're a salary earner, there are about 8 different things. I have an entire module on creating wealth as a career person. And I share with them all the different things they can do. So number one, start early.
Yeah.
Start early. A lot of people take time to even discover themselves. So you see a lot of people, they work here today, they work there tomorrow. They are changing jobs based on salary, not connected to purpose. So because of that, they are not able to stay in one place enough to become exceptional and to be able to grow their career. So number one is to start early. So once you discover that you are going to be a career person, number one, go to school, get your degree. Once you get your degree, get a job, and then start early. Because if you start at the age of 24, 25, you have 15 to 20 years to be able to build wealth. You don't need to retire at 65. No, you can do it in 15 to 20 years as a career person. So number one is start early. Number two is give it all it takes. Once you resume work, don't join people to be forming union. Don't join people to be wasting time. Resume early, close late. Give it all it takes. Show that you are valuable. That's number two. Number three, get all the certifications you can get. Because if you're a career person, what they need is for you to have the right certification, the right skill, and the right expertise to be able to produce results. So get all the certification, do all the professional exams, give it all it takes. Number four, network strategically. You need to be able to meet with the right people to mentor you and to guide you, because in life, what you know and who you know determines how far you go.
Yeah.
So there are gatekeepers in every industry. So if you are in an industry as a career person, who are the gatekeepers in your office? Who are the gatekeepers in that industry? What are the associations that connect people in that industry together? Is there an online platform you can join? So network strategically. so that you'll be able to meet with the right kind of people that can recommend you or that can give you connections or contact, because that's the way the world works. Who you know and what you know determines how far you go. Number five is save. You must save a minimum of 10 to 20%
Percent of your
of your
income.
income
Yeah.
every month. If you don't save, you are not safe. A lot of people are talking of a bright future. There is nothing called tomorrow. There is nothing called future. Tomorrow is a concept. The future is a concept. Today is the tomorrow you spoke about yesterday.
Yesterday.
So if you
Yeah.
think your future is bright, you will enter the future and discover it's not bright, because the future you create is the future you inhabit. So begin to save. Save money, 20% of your income, 30% of your income. Reduce your expenditure. Don't go into 3 square meal. Three is not a 3 square meal. Is three not a triangle? Why are they calling it square? Don't get into all this bag and shoot to match. Your destiny is not matching your bank account. You are fixing eyelashes, fixing nails, fixing bone straight. Your life is not straight. You're having three assets. You don't have shares in the telecom industry. Don't go into all those ways, because you have a dream to say, okay, in 10, 15 years, I'm having my exit strategy for wealth creation. So save massively. And then the next thing is begin to invest. So as you begin to save, you save towards investment.
Yeah.
Savings, Nancy, savings is not an investment.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Savings is
Yeah.
setting money aside for a purpose.
Yes.
Because if you are saving money, it's losing value. The interest rate is below the inflation rate.
Yeah.
The money is being devalued because of the economy we operate in. But it's still important to save. It's an
Save,
habit you
yeah.
need to have.
Yeah.
Then you save so that you can now begin to invest.
Invest.
And as you begin to invest, you are investing in things that will bring return. So saving is setting money aside for a purpose. Investing is sending money an assignment for a return. So you are still earning your salary. But because you have saved money, you have a Bible salon somewhere that is bringing money. Because you have saved money, you have a tricycle there somewhere that is bringing money. Because you have saved money, you have put money in some platforms that are producing money. Then the next one is have multiple streams of income. Make sure you create multiple streams so you are not just limited to salary. And then finally, give God his rightful place. You are either in the secret court or you are in the secret place. The marketplace of today answers to secrets. That's why money is called the hidden riches of secret places and treasures of darkness. So you must give God, the Creator, his rightful place in your life, so that he will add favor to your labor and bring you into the right place at the right time for things to be able to work for you. So those are the steps that a career person can take to create wealth. It can take between 10 to 15 to 20 years, but if you start earlier and you have a plan and you do what needs to be done, you will get there. We've raised a lot of people that are career people, and they are doing well today because they were mentored. And that's where mentorship also comes in.
Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel, for bringing this up. In fact, it's like you watched my show yesterday, because even yesterday, I've said it a few times here on the program, that savings, of course, you've got to save, because perhaps also for emergency contingency plans, you've got to save. But have it in mind that even when you are saving, that you should also invest those savings. And I've told people on the show, our viewers, savings rate in an average Nigerian bank, of course, with the MPR that was just hiked to 15.5%, if the CBN adjusts the savings rate and directs the bank, the savings rate you'll be having will be about 4.65%. So it doesn't really make sense for you to keep your money in the bank with a 4.65% interest rate with an MPR of 15.5% when inflation is 20.5%. So it doesn't make sense. And that's where financial intelligence that you spoke earlier, is really fit for what we're discussing. So I hope that our viewers have really taken this. I like the aspect which you also spoke about, secrets. And Doctor, it's as if you're attacking us women, both straight. Doctor, you are talking about both straights and buying the things. Are you attacking us?
Only women, no, but a lot of women, I think that in Africa, a lot of women, based on their upbringing, have not taken financial education serious. But a lot of women today are beginning to arise to that place. And that's why you see a lot of men, messing a lot of women up. I see a lot of dehumanization of the women, because most of them were trained to depend on a man to succeed. Oh, grow so that you will marry, or so that your husband will take care of you. But if you look at what's happening today, everyone needs to be economically empowered. But because a lot of women are not economically empowered, they seem not to have a choice. So they have to submit to all kinds of abuse that is not necessary. So I'm not knocking women, but you see, you women, I love shoes. I love shoes. You have only 2 legs, but you love shoes. And you are not an octopus. If you love shoes, produce
shoes,
market shoes, design shoes, sell shoes. Don't just gather all these things that are not really an asset. So I'm not knocking you. Women are the most powerful people on earth. So Mercy.
Okay, doctor, that brings me to the next question from what you've just said. If you take a look at the gender, male and female, who are those? Which gender do you think really have financial intelligence more? I know this is a tricky question in today's world. Or which gender? Is it
Well,
the male folks or the
personally,
female? Yeah.
personally, I believe women have more financial intelligence than men because women are intuitive, and because of their womb and bowel of mercy, and they are concerned to ensure that their family, their children are taken care of. When you put money in the hand of a woman, she's thinking of how to make sure that she's able to use that money to take care of things. But when it comes to giving attention to financial education, men pursue financial education more than women. Most of the women that have financial intelligence is something that is intuitive, is something that is innate. But now let's look at it. I don't know how many times I've seen women carrying books to read. Not that they don't read, a lot of women read, but most of the time you don't see a lot of women reading. It's just beginning to change now that a lot of women are beginning to realize that, look, I cannot go through what my mother went through in the hand of a man. I need to have my own money. I need to be economically empowered. And I always say to people, wealth is not sexually transmitted. Wealth is not sexually transmitted. The fact that you are married to a rich man does not make you a rich woman. So you need to be able to have some level of value and some level of wealth that you also bring to the table so that the men will not begin to abuse and demean you, which is not acceptable in our world today.
Let me interrogate that further. Wealth is not sexually transmitted. Agreed, because we've seen a lot of people even marry, or a lot of women marry into rich homes. When divorce comes or crisis comes, they are left with nothing. So are you saying now, let's delve into couples right now, building wealth. What would be your prescription for couples to build wealth? Because they say that when you are married, this one brings 50-50. Your wife brings this one bring. But I also tell people it's not about 50-50. I should bring my all and my husband should bring his all. Doctor, I don't know what you think, that we should bring 100% to the table.
Well, when it comes to family finance, one thing we need to understand is there is no one size fits all because everybody's story is unique.
Different.
So we can only speak of something that is general, but there will be exceptions. So for instance, if you're a woman, you're working in a corporate organization, you are earning ₦1 million a month, and you marry a billionaire, there is no way you can be. The billionaire is a multi-billionaire. He doesn't need any of your money. So you can even say, oh, just use your $1 million to do whatever you want to do. So in that case, we can't be saying no 50-50. But what I advise people, because of the general rule for family finance, is number one, joint vision. Number two, joint knowledge. Number three, joint planning. So joint vision, we both have to sit down to have a vision for our financial life. So I say to people that when you are getting married, I do not personally believe that any couple should celebrate their 10-year wedding anniversary in a rented apartment. So I tell them, once you are getting married, have a joint vision. By 10 years, we will be in our own house. So if you plan to be in your own house in 10 years, you will not be wasting money on naming ceremony, on weddings, on all burial and all these things that people waste money on. Because a lot of people are where they are because of waste. So that means if we are going to have our own house in 10 years, within 2 years, we'll be thinking of getting a land. Within 4 years, we'll have started the building. And that is very important. Number two, I tell married people, I personally do not believe that husband and wife should work for salary all their life. I believe that by the 15th year of every marriage, one of the partner must have exited the rat race to become an entrepreneur. So whosoever has a greater possibility of growth should stay in career. So if it's the woman that can grow more, that has more possibilities in her career, she can continue career while the husband starts the business. If the husband is the one that has more possibility in his career, he continues the career while the woman starts the business, and they go for training, they get all the things they need to do, they need to learn to do the business very well. Then when it comes to family finance, I advise people that they should have 4 accounts. Couples should have 4 accounts. Number one, they should have personal accounts. And now that personal account should be husband, you have your account, wife, you have your account. Because any relationship that robs you of your individuality is a bondage. Yes, we are married. 1 plus 1, they say, is equals to 1, but you are still 1. So you cannot say because a lot of people talk about joint account, joint this. It's not a general rule. All you need is joint knowledge. So we start with joint vision, then joint knowledge. In joint knowledge, we must all know what we earn. There should be nothing you have that your spouse is not aware of. So it's just joint knowledge. And then the third one is joint planning. So in that planning, we have 4 accounts. One account is personal. Then we have what we call an investment account. Now, the investment account should be a joint account that every couple should have. And in that investment account, we put a percentage of our income into that account that we have agreed. And that is for investment, school fees, house rent, building our house, family travel, and anything that has to do with investment. And before money will come out of that account, we must sit down together to say, okay, should we do this? The next account is expense account. And that is an account you have to run the home, depending on how you want to run your home. So we should also put X percentage of our income into that account. So I tell people, work with percentages. So if it's okay, let's all put 20% of our income into investment account. We've done that. Let's put 30% of our income in expense account. We've done that. Now, that expense account should now be managed by the person that has more financial discipline. And most of the time, in most homes, is the woman that manages that account. So she's the one that runs the home, make sure this is done, that is done, that is done. But in some families, it doesn't work like that. So what they do, what some families do is that they divide the chores. And they say, okay, as a man, house rent, school fees, and this and that is your own. The woman, you pay for this, pay for this. So some people divide the chores and they pay. Because you know that in some homes, the women earn more than the men. So it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. We can just give people guides, and when they follow the guide, they look at how it will relate to them and what will work best for them. But the bottom line is joint vision, joint knowledge, and joint planning.
Doctor, I did not hear joint account. I didn't hear joint accounts.
Yeah.
I didn't hear joint accounts because
joint account is not a general
rule.
So out of the 4 accounts that you have, the one that will be joint account is the investment account. So that investment account is the joint account where they will both put money they'll put a percentage of your money, maybe 20% to say, okay, this is an investment account and it is purely for investment. And that is the joint account. So nobody can pull out money without the other person. That's the only one that I subscribe to. I don't subscribe to putting the whole of your 100% together in one
into a joint account. That's what I meant.
I don't personally subscribe to that because it doesn't work generally for everybody because of a lot of things we have seen in the course of helping people. In the last 33 years, I'm also a pastor. So in the last 33 years, I've been in ministry and I've seen money mess up a lot of families and a lot of marriages. And religion can be more dangerous than the devil. So a lot of people have misquoted scripture and they have said joint account. God never said you should have a joint account. He just said that you should have joint knowledge. So what people are calling joint accounts is actually joint knowledge. There should be no secret. There should be no money you have that your spouse is not aware of. It doesn't have to be in one account together. But the joint account you should have is investment account.
I had to bring that up because, a lot of people have this mentality that, okay, once they are married, the two of us, if we're any 100,000, we put it together, it's 200,000 and it's one account. From that account, we do anything we want to do. But from what you've just said now, you are not prescribing that. It's not a one-size-fits-all for everyone.
It's not.
Okay, Dr. Emmanuel, let's talk about, of course, you've been taking a look at it piece by piece in this interview. But I would like to know if there are common money mistakes that people can avoid that, common money mistakes that hinder creating wealth. Because if we're talking about money, in fact, money makes the world go round, as it were. So if there is money everywhere around the world, you've got to master the act of making, managing, and multiplying money. But what are the common money mistakes that hinder us from creating wealth? Of course, you said earlier, it's 2 things. You either increase your income or you reduce your expenditure. Are there some other common money mistakes that can hinder wealth creation?
Okay. Well, thanks, Nancy, for bringing that up. I actually have a book called 50 Common Money Mistakes to Avoid, how to avoid a financial pandemic in your life. And there are so many money mistakes that people make. Number one, ignoring financial intelligence is a money mistake. A lot of people, the last time they read a book was when they graduated from school. So ignoring financial intelligence is a money mistake. Number two, ignoring the culture of savings is a money mistake. A lot of people don't save. They just believe I can't afford to save, I can't afford to save. And they are looking for a bright future. And there's no bright future anywhere if you don't create the bright future. Number three, investing in what you don't understand is a money mistake.
Yeah.
We tell people investigate before you invest. But a lot of people, out of greed and covetousness, they put their money into all kinds of stuff because they want to get something for nothing. And for instance, I remember when the stock market crashed in 07, 08, 09, and a lot of people lost money. Every time people say, I lost money in the stock market, I ask them one question. Have you ever read a book on the stock market?
Yeah.
Have you ever attended any seminar or training on the stock market? And over 90% of them said no. So how do you expect to succeed in what you don't understand? It's happening right now with forex and crypto and all this stuff that people just get themselves involved in. People are mentally lazy. They are not ready to do their due diligence. And then they wonder why things turn out the way it turn out. Having only one source of income is also a money mistake. You cannot succeed in creating wealth with just one source of income. You need to have multiple streams of income. But a lot of people, because of the way they are brought up, because I tell people you are either educated, uneducated, or miseducated. And the miseducation of the masses has made people to believe that go to school, get good grades, get a job, retire, and you are good. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. So having just one source of income is a money mistake that people must make sure that they do not allow themselves to get into. Next, living a life of waste is a money mistake. A lot of people waste time, they waste relationship, they waste opportunity, they waste privileges, and they waste money. There are only three things you can do with money. You can waste it, you can spend it, you can invest it. Foolish people waste money. Average people spend money. Wise people invest money.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are wasteful. There's what we call the 20-40-60 principle. And it says that when you are in your 20s and in your 30s, you are so concerned about what people will say and what people will think. So most of your decisions and choices are based on, how will people feel? What will people say? By the time you get to your 40s and 50s, you realize that a fool at 40 or life begins at 40.
In the first place.
You don't even care what anybody is saying.
Yeah.
Because you have now come to realize that your life is your life. By the time you now get to your 60s, you realize that nobody was even saying anything in the first place.
You.
So a lot of people live a life of waste. They buy clothes, shoes, all the clothes you bought. When the lockdown came, where did you wear it to? All the bags, all the shoes, all the cars, all the things. We are so materialistic because we don't realize that many of the things we are acquiring is nothing but waste. So living a life of waste is a money mistake because once your expenditure is greater than your income, your upkeep will become your downfall. So a lot of people, they waste money, and this waste is a major problem. Next, lack of mentorship is a major money mistake. A lot of people don't have mentors, they don't have coaches that mentor them to guide them in the area of wealth. And what we see, I run a group called the Billionaires Conclave, where I train and mentor people in the area of wealth. And a lot of people think, I don't need any mentor. I don't need any coach. I know what to do. So you now see poor people advising poor people. Tenants is advising tenants. Jobless people are advising jobless people. And what quality of advice can a poor man give you when he has not been able to solve his own problem? So it's very, very important for people to understand that that's also a money mistake, to make sure that they begin to change that narrative and look for mentors, so that you need mentors for all the major and vital areas of your life, so that you continue to learn and you have people to guide you and you have a bouncing, somebody to bounce ideas by before you make some major reasons. So there are like 50 of them, but I think I've given them enough for free.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Olumide. I wish we could go on and on, because this is one thing that I'm really passionate about, teaching people really about money. And like I told you, we hosted the Personal and Business Acceleration Masterclass last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? So just a few days ago. And this is what I do really like every day, because I really want Nigerians out there to just get it, because I tell people that even if it's 5,000 naira, if you can't save from 5,000, if you have 50K, you cannot save from it. So you've got to start little. Yeah. And I loved what you said as per, what was it again, in terms of invest in what you understand. In fact, I learned that from Warren Buffett. I've watched him over the years. I've read a few of his books, and he said, "I don't invest in what I don't understand. That I will invest in what I understand." And he's one of the billionaires in the world. So, Dr. Emmanuel, thank you very much for joining us today. I guess we've got to go. Director, how many minutes do we have left? No more time. Okay. That was my director talking to me. So, Dr. Olumide, thank you for your insights today. I hope to talk to you soon again on issues about financial and money intelligence. So, have a great day. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, I've been speaking with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, a business coach, a business and a leadership coach, in fact. And I hope that while this interview was on, you were writing, you know. In case you are not writing, go on YouTube. You would definitely upload it on YouTube immediately after the show. So go on YouTube. Or we're even live streaming on YouTube. So copy the link. And don't forget to subscribe. That's the much you can take on today's edition of the program. Thank you for your company. As usual, I am Nancy Naji. Be the best you can be and be that change that you want to see. Bye for now.